All right. Hey everyone, my name is Clay Robinson, and I will be arguing not just that a global war is likely in the future, but it will be specifically against China. And so my presentation is how China is seizing a moment of American weakness. I just want to start with a quote from Thucydides. In his account of the Peloponnesian War, he said, "The growth of the power of Athens and the alarm which this inspired in Sparta made war inevitable." And I think you can just replace that with China and the United States. So the growth of the power of China and the alarm which this inspired in the United States made war inevitable. And see how you can just kind of go back and forth. History has an interesting way of repeating itself, and I'm going to kind of go into why I think this is the case. I think China is playing the long game, which is why we've grown increasingly concerned. This concern started primarily within the Trump administration, but Biden has also been echoing similar sentiments. And some of the ways that they're doing this, the rise of China, is exerting economic influence and asserting regional dominance. So this is kind of seen through the One Belt, One Road initiative, which you can talk about in just a second. Things like currency manipulation and intellectual property theft. Kind of this another addition to economic, undermining the economic order, undermining global norms and expectations. So going to international organizations, participating in these compacts and treaties, but then turning around and undermining them and then getting away with it. Enforcing cultural hegemony via ethnic cleansing and genocide. We know that the Uyghur Muslim population is being oppressed, killed, re-educated in many areas of the Chinese mainland. And so that's one of the reasons why Western powers could get involved. Increasing the scope of influence in traditionally Western dominated regions. So this goes also back to the One Belt, One Road initiative, but smaller, maybe undeveloped nations that typically rely on Western resources may be turning to China, because China is often a better deal. And this is another way that China is undercutting Western influence and can prove to be a threat in the future. A lot of people are calling it right now a new Cold War. For a few reasons, and I think a lot of this can translate into an actual physical war. A new space race. There's a reason why a lot of people make fun of the Space Force, but I think there's a reason why it was established, and that was to monitor threats to the final frontier. This could come in satellite communication, intercontinental ballistics, digital warfare, which that's my next point. So defending satellites from potential attacks, this is how we communicate. And so when those are under threat, that's, that can provoke great powers to go to war. Digital warfare. So you have national security threats. We all thought it was funny that maybe TikTok was a national security threat, but it is. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Again, securing satellite communication technologies from these threats. Finally, just the global economy re-highlighting this. So the rise of protectionism on both sides, the United States and China. Instead of going the route of free trade, we're getting more protectionist policies. The One Belt, One Road initiative in developing countries. And fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic. I think this was a real big catalyst for a lot of the tensions we're seeing today between specifically China and the United States, and how that can turn into a global war. And I think part of the issue too is that domestic turbulence is a distraction to national security policy. So China believes America is in this moment of weakness, which is why it's strategizing this long game. And this is for a few reasons. Public health emergencies. Again, the fallout from COVID-19, distrust not in our own institutions, but also in international institutions, distrust of China. This is not good for international relations, hostile political environments. We're having our own internal conflicts. We can get distracted with these infrastructural woes. I think it's safe to say that we have a huge lack of investment in critical areas, roads, bridges, airports, etc. Some of these places sorely need an update, and we're not making those investments like other nations are. Constant change of policy, unlike China, who can essentially elect somebody every 4 years, we actually get someone new. And so with the chance of having someone new every 4 years, that policy is going to change. There's not really a consistent message that can contribute to kind of not a focused national security policy. Rising financial concerns, you have increased inflation, where there's a worrisome of the economic outlook. So there's just a lot of things going on internally, and we're not putting our focus where it should be. And so when China does provoke us in a way that we won't tolerate, this could lead to potential war. And so I'm just going to conclude real fast with Sun Tzu. The opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. And so I think if China and the United States go to war, I think it's because of the United States allowed it to happen. And there are things we can do now to prevent that. But at this point, I do think it's inevitable for the reasons that I did. I look forward to you guys' comments, responses, rebuttals. Thank you.